This is NH Unscripted at WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, and 101.9 FM in Manchester. I'm sure as you can tell by now, this is not Ray Dudley. This is Andrew Gibson, filling in for Ray in the interim. And today, on today's show, we have Bryan Halperin and Courtney Palmer joining us from Powerhouse Theater Collaborative in Laconia. How are you guys doing today?
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Doing great.
Well, for those who haven't heard before, Bryan has been on a few times, but for the guests that are just tuning in, what is Powerhouse Theater Collaborative?
Powerhouse Theater Collaborative is a professionally managed community theater that is the resident theater company of the Colonial Theater in Laconia, the beautiful Colonial Theater. It's truly a gem in our state. And we produce community theater productions with typically very large casts on our Colonial stage. And then we have smaller, more intimate events that we do all around Laconia and the Lakes region, and even come down to Concord sometimes and perform at the B&H stage. So we have a whole bunch of shows every year that involve community members from all over New Hampshire, and we have a lot of fun getting together and, you know, working hard toward putting on great shows to entertain our audiences and to challenge ourselves.
And I would definitely agree with that. I'm a little biased myself as I've worked with you guys now for a couple of years.
Yes.
Mostly with Christmas Carol, but now starting to branch out into some other stuff.
Yes, including one coming up.
Including one that's coming up, which we will get to. And yeah, so how is this current season going? Because I know you guys are just wrapping up. By the time this airs, we'll have just wrapped up Midsummer Night's Dream, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so Midsummer Night's Dream, it's going up Valentine's Day weekend. So yes, it will be all wrapped up by the time this airs. But it's been going really well. It's definitely a unique take on this Shakespeare classic. We take you down to the Louisiana Bayou. There's singing, there's dancing, movement, there's clapping and stomping, and it's been a really exciting time, and we've had Joel Ayahuascowicz directing that, and so that's been great. We love Bryan as a director, but it's also fun to have some new faces.
So one of the things we challenged ourselves this year was to make it a season full of fun. We did some heavy stuff last season, The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Diary of Anne Frank, and while those are fun in a different way, we decided that, you know, both our audience and our participants could use some fun this year. So in the shows we picked, we really tried to do things that we were going to enjoy working on all year and sharing with our group. So Midsummer was a nice way to break into that with, you know, Shakespeare's classic rom-com, but we, in typical Powerhouse fashion, we sort of challenged ourselves to do it in a new manner. And you know, you don't often get to see Shakespeare done on a big stage with high production values. You know, it's often done outdoors with simple costumes and no set and no lighting. And we really sort of tried to go all out and make it a Powerhouse Colonial show with all the bells and whistles, and give people a chance to see Shakespeare and performed in a little bit different of a manner.
And that's fantastic. I mean, I saw pictures from the set. I mean, the set looks amazing. Very, very Louisiana Bayou. Very much fits the motif.
And it glows beautifully under Tyler Susie's lighting design, which, you know, evokes sort of the late afternoon through the midsummer night, and just looks really pretty under lights. And we have a new costumer with us for the show, Emily Nelson, and her costumes work really well with it too. So we're really proud of the production values of this one. And the cast seems to be having a great time and is putting on a great show.
And we love to hear that. And hopefully they've gotten really, really good crowds that weekend.
We hope.
That's always the hope. And then you also have another collaboration with Winnipesaukee, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. How is that going?
Well, that's going. This is probably. I'm directing that one. That's why Joel was subbing in for me on the Colonial stage for Midsummer. We're doing The Play That Goes Wrong, which is possibly the funniest play ever written. It is just full of laughter and silly, theatrical shenanigans. We have a very, very comedic cast who are just nailing the characters and the comedic timing required. And we've just started working with the set, which is, for this show, if you don't know it, it's a production where an amateur British theater troupe is putting on a murder mystery, but anything that could go wrong in a typical theater production does. The set falls apart, props are missing, lines are dropped, so the actors have to roll with it both, as, the actors playing the characters in the murder mystery all have to roll with it. So it's very meta, but if you love theater, it's just a good way to sort of celebrate making something out of a mess and still having a good time, trying to get through the show. And when I saw the show on Broadway, we just laughed, like tears in our eyes from, start to finish. And we're hoping to bring that kind of laughter to the community. And yeah, it's a collaboration with the Winnie Players. And so we're working at the Winnie Playhouse for the first time. Well, not the first time for me, but the first time for the Powerhouse, and working together to put that show up in March. And it runs for 2 weekends, so people have a few extra chances because the Playhouse seating capacity is a lot smaller than the Colonials.
See, and that's fantastic. I love that show so much, and it's often compared to another show, Noises Off, which is a show that's also very similar in nature.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen Play That Goes Wrong. I've been in Noises Off, but from a technicality standpoint, I would imagine that the set for Play That Goes Wrong is a little more elaborate.
Well, it's not as elaborate in terms of the scale of it. It's more elaborate in what the set has to do. Like the big thing with Noises Off is it has to rotate.
Right.
And it's a big set that has to rotate. So
Correct.
It's always impressive to see it rotate.
Mm-hmm.
This is a much smaller set, but the set itself has to do a lot more than rotate. So
right, stuff has to fall apart, things like that.
Basically, yes. Yep. So, it can be, this is a set where you warn people, like, everyone has to be on their toes and paying attention, and everything has to be working correctly, or people can get hurt. So we're hoping nobody will get hurt, and the tears will all be from laughter and not pain.
That is definitely the hope. I definitely prefer Plays That Goes Wrong, so hopefully we'll be able to get out and see that, because I'm very much I love that one.
It is, as I said, a smaller capacity, so we recommend if people are interested in seeing it, getting their tickets ahead of time, because there's only about 160 seats for each performance, which runs March 6th through 8th and 12th through 15th.
And can they go on the Powerhouse website for that?
Yes. So you can go to the Winnie Playhouse website or the Powerhouse website, and that will take you to the Playhouse's ticketing system. Powerhouse website is powerhouseh.org.
Excellent. Now, I see another show on here in between those. We have, what is it? Pooh's Birthday Surprise. What's that about?
So this is a first for Powerhouse. This is an all-teen production. So it's a play. It was written by J.D. Halperin, Bryan Halperin's daughter. Yay. And yes, yay. And it is Pooh's 100th anniversary this year. So we thought, what better way to celebrate that than with a play? And so we have teens coming out during February break. We're going to rehearse for 2 days, and then we're taking it on the road to a bunch of different libraries in the area, as well as the West End Museum in Boston.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
It'll be really fun. It's minimal set, but it's a great script. It's super funny. It's basically about, it's Winnie the Pooh's birthday, of course, but Christopher Robin tells Pooh that there's a special birthday coming up, and Pooh does not realize that it's his, so he's going around to all your familiar favorite characters and trying to parse out whose birthday it is. So that will be performing February 25th through February 28th. We're at the Guilford Library. We're at the Plymouth Public Library, the Laconia Public Library, Meredith Library. We're also at the Belknap Mill. So we're going to be back in that space, which is awesome because that's where Powerhouse started. So we'll be back there. And then on Saturday, February 28th, we are branching out to the West End Museum in Boston.
So this is a first for Powerhouse in two regards. As Courtney said, it's the first time we're doing it. We've always included kids in our shows when appropriate, but we're not a youth theater. So this is the first time we're trying something just with teens, and Courtney will be directing. And it's also the first time we're touring something to multiple venues. So a couple of new challenges for us during February break, but we're excited to bring this to kids and families looking for something to do during February vacation.
That's awesome. Yeah, touring shows are definitely a lot of fun, and especially getting to tour that in Boston. I mean, that's a big deal.
Well, that came about because JD, who wrote the play, actually works at the West End Museum, and they were looking to try and do some children's programming. And since she wrote it and her parents' company is producing it, the museum was like, can you bring that here? So we're going to give that a try. And I think it's an exciting opportunity for our teens in the show to get a chance to sort of go on the road and do something, outside of New Hampshire. So that should be fun.
Absolutely. Well, we know what that music means. It's time to take a break. And as Ray would say, we got to go pay some bills. So you're listening to NH Unscripted. Stay tuned. We're going to come back and talk more with Bryan and Courtney of Powerhouse Theater Collaborative. You are once again listening to NH Unscripted at WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, and 101.9 FM in Manchester, and at nhtalkradio.com. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. And as Ray would say, we're here at the Taj Mahal-like digs of the WKXL studios here in Concord. Would also like to thank the sponsor of this show, Big Dog Sauce, award-winning barbecue, right here in New Hampshire. And they are a proud sponsor of this show, and we can't thank them enough. So if you're just tuning in, we've been talking with Bryan Halperin and Courtney Palmer of Powerhouse Theater Collaborative. Just having a great time talking about the upcoming season and the things that are going on over there in Laconia and all over northern New Hampshire. And even in Boston with their children's show. Well, what's coming up next for Powerhouse after Play That Goes Wrong?
Yeah, so later in March, we have our annual Just Duet fundraiser, and that is our take on sort of American Idol Broadway version, but for duos instead of solo artists. And this will be our fourth year doing it. It's always a huge amount of fun. We raise money for Powerhouse, but also we give money back to our venue, the Colonial, through the Colonial Theater Advancement Fund, which helps pays for like backstage improvements and upkeep and things like that. So it's sort of our way of bringing our community together to sort of have a celebration that supports Powerhouse, but also supports our venue. And in it, teams of two enter the competition and each perform a ballad and an up-tempo musical theater style number. And we have judges' scores and also audience voting, and audience votes with dollars either online, which they can do in advance, or at the event in cash in little boxes that they stuff for the contestants. And the winner is a combination of the judges' score and the audience vote tallies. But all the contestants, we always make sure all the contestants get a prize, which are donated by local businesses, gift certificates to restaurants and things like that. So it's just a really fun event one time a year on March 21st. And to be honest, Andrew, I'm surprised you haven't found yourself a partner to do that yet.
Well,
I don't know what you're waiting for.
Well, no, some things kind of got jumbled this year, but I can assure you that next year I will definitely be looking into that.
Okay, sounds good.
And you can hold me to that.
Okay, it's a great way for our performers to, and you don't have to be a Powerhouse performer to participate.
No, you do not.
It's open to anybody who would like to enter. But it's a fun way to let people sort of choose their own partner and choose their own material and get a chance to sing on the Colonial stage, exactly what they want to sing.
And there's even some trios too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we have a little twist that we call it, last year's version was Just Duet or Try It. And we allowed people, if they wanted to bring in a ringer for one of their songs. And this year, our twist is Super Team Edition, which we allowed two teams to team up on one of their numbers. So there's one quartet this year, a couple of trios, and the rest are all duets. So we're excited about that. It's a really fun event, and it goes to a good cause.
And we love that. So, yeah, I definitely voted last year, even though I was unable to attend. I did vote last year. Highly recommend going to see this, folks. It's a really, really fun time.
Yeah, it's just a great way to get together on a sort of a more casual environment than one of our big shows that we put in months and months of work on. And this is a little bit more relaxed, and people are just there to have a good time.
Absolutely. And then after that, we have a pretty big show coming up in the spring.
This is the one that we are most excited about. Not that we're not we picked this season excited about all the shows, but myself in particular, I'm really excited about this one because this is something I think that sets Powerhouse apart: the ability to take on a challenge of a new work and and hopefully find an audience for it. But we're doing the New Hampshire premiere of a beautiful new musical called The Magician's Elephant. People may recognize that title because it was a very popular young adult novel by Kate DiCamillo, who's a pretty famous writer. And this is a new musical version that's only just come out. And we just jumped at the chance to be the first ones to do it in New Hampshire. And one of the challenges of it is one of the characters is an elephant. And we've got Sherry Gardner, who's done some puppetry for us before, working to create a not quite life-size but pretty big elephant puppet that is controlled by 3 puppeteers at a time to bring the elephant to life because it's a pretty central character as you might guess by the title.
Oh yes.
So we're really excited about that, and I don't know, Courtney, do you want to give a little synopsis of it or? No, she's shaking her head no. Okay, I'll give a little synopsis of it. The town of Baltese, which is recovering from a terrible war that sort of made the town, or the people in the town, very, very depressed and sort of took all the joy out of their life. And there's a boy who lost his parents in the war, who's being raised by his father's, who was a soldier, his old captain. And he's been told his sister died in childbirth, but he keeps having these dreams that somehow she's alive. And then out of the blue, a fortune teller comes to town and tells him, your sister's alive. And he asks how I find her. And she says, you have to follow the elephant. There's only one problem. There's never been an elephant in the landlocked European, city of Baltese. So he doesn't understand how he can find his sister. But then a magician appears, and the magician will be played by somebody familiar, Mr. Andrew Gibson.
Yep, that's me.
A magician appears and conjures an elephant out of the sky who crashes through the Opera House roof and sets off our chain of events that now suddenly this boy Peter needs to find the elephant because she thinks it will help him find his sister. But it's really a play about sort of a community and a community sort of recovering from trauma and finding the joy again in life and realizing that sort of comes from selflessness and empathy and sort of rebuilding community. So it's just a really beautiful show, and it's new challenges for us with the puppet and attempting to find an audience for a brand new musical that doesn't have a title that maybe people are familiar with. So we've challenged ourselves through that.
And we really have a stellar cast for it too. I mean, a lot of these people have played big roles in other shows as well at Powerhouse and across the state. And I'm not even talking about myself. I'm talking about, we have Ben Hunton playing, Leo Matien, and we have Emily Thompson playing our narrator. So we have a lot of people in this cast that are really, really good.
I think one thing we're finding is as our group continues to grow, there's always a risk announcing a new show that, not just that the audience doesn't know, but that the performers don't know. And we were very glad that our core group, sort of took our word for it that this would be a show that they'd want to be involved in because we thought it was something special, and we told them we thought it was something special, and we're glad that was enough for them to sort of sign on. So we have a cast of 55, which is not our biggest, but
no, it's not.
for a new musical to get that many people to come out and want to be part of it, and to get so many talented people coming out, we're really, really excited to get starting on that. And we have 2 kids playing 2 of the leading roles who are new to Powerhouse. We sort of put out the word for a statewide search, and they both have some professional experience and a lot of good credits on their resumes. And we're really excited to welcome them to sort of becoming the pivotal roles in this show.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fantastic show. I mean, admittedly, I had to research it a little bit myself before auditions, but it is really such a whimsical, fun show. The music is really good. people I think are really going to be not only surprised, but I think they're going to really like it.
And the other thing that was really nice about it is, and good for our group, is there are like over 20 named speaking roles, who have solos and singing. So it was a chance for, a lot of people to have something featured to do in the show. And then, we put our own twists on it with magic dancers, we're calling them. We've, that are not in the script, but we are using them to sort of help sort of show the magic in the piece. So it's another way to get our dancing group involved, because we have a bunch of dancers that love doing shows with us and love to dance. So,
I mean, we had that in Hunchback. I mean, we had our fire dancers, and I thought that was an excellent element.
Exactly.
It was so much fun, and it just added this extra little piece of something to the show to make it more engaging.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really, really good thing to have.
Yeah, I think part of producing is, utilizing the talents you have at hand. And we have these really good dancers who keep coming out, so we try to find ways to include them in unique ways.
Yeah. And I think people are really, really going to love this show. Absolutely.
It runs May 1st through 3rd at the Colonial.
Yep. So get your tickets, and make sure you get your tickets on the Powerhouse website. That's the other thing. If I remember correctly, we've had a little bit of a scalper issue in the past.
Yeah, there are third-party sites that mimic the Colonial's ticketing system. So if you Google the show, you'll end up on one of those third-party sites. What we try to do at Powerhouse is keep our tickets really affordable. Our top ticket price is $25. Then, of course, there are online fees and things that go that all venues have when you do online ticketing. But we've seen our tickets being charged, $60, $70 on fake sites, and nobody benefits from that. So make sure you go to either powerhouseh.org or coloniallaconia.com to get your tickets for Powerhouse shows.
Perfect. Yep. So go there for your tickets, folks. We're gonna hit a little bit of a commercial break here. When we get back, we're gonna talk some Play Festival. So tune in. Come back to WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM Concord, 101.9 FM in Manchester at nhtalkradio.com. This is NH Unscripted, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. You are listening to NH Unscripted. Welcome back. Here at WKXL, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM Concord, 101.9 FM Manchester, and NHTalkRadio.com. If you're just tuning in, we've been speaking with Bryan Halperin and Courtney Palmer of Powerhouse Theater Collaborative, talking about some great shows coming up in their season, and we still have a few more to talk about. So, Bryan, what's up next after Magician's Elephant?
Well, we're currently in the halfway point of our winter playwriting workshop that I teach each year, and every spring we produce the plays, and Courtney is taking the workshop this year, and she's going to be the lead producer on that festival, so she could tell you about it.
Yeah, so for this workshop, we have, I believe it's 14 participants this year, writing 10-minute plays. So these are original plays that will premiere at Prescott Farm in Laconia on May 30th and 31st. So these are plays of all different genres, and they take place all around the farm. So you get to really get a sense of how beautiful that property is. We love Prescott Farm. We do another event at Prescott Farm during the year in September. So it's just a great opportunity to be outside and have some fun with these new plays.
Nice. And so it's not in the same format. So I know about the Prescott Farm performances. I know you guys did like the Alice in Wonderland,
yep,
and the Peter Pan. So are these play festival shows like that where it's interactive, or is it just?
No, so these are not interactive. They have 3 different locations on the farm. We split the plays into those locations, and so there's a schedule, and hopefully we create the schedule in such a way where if you wanted to come and watch all of these plays, you would have the opportunity to make your way to all of them. So not interactive, but you still get to walk around and see different parts of the farm.
It's just an opportunity for playwrights to, especially if they're new playwrights, to get a chance to see what actually the fruits of their writing process come to when they get to see it produced live. And for the audience, especially for people who like to see something different, these are essentially all world premieres. So the audience can come and pull up a picnic blanket or a lawn chair, and they can move from location to location to see whichever of the plays that they're interested in, or as Courtney said, go from one location to the next in order and see them all.
That's awesome. And Prescott Park is a beautiful area. That whole area is just absolutely gorgeous. So.
Yeah, it's on White Oaks Road in Laconia, and if people don't know it, they should check it out. It's also a nonprofit. It has a nature-based preschool, as well as many programs for adults on outdoor education, and they have nature walks and all sorts of amazing programs. And it's one of the other nonprofits that we find ourselves a frequent collaborative with, because we support their mission, they support our mission, and their venue, their beautiful fields and barns and stuff are a great backdrop for us to bring our theater productions to.
Awesome. So after that, we have a musical in concert coming up in June.
This is another new thing for us, a new collaboration with another Lakes Region nonprofit, the Lakes Region Symphony Orchestra. For the America's 250th birthday, we are producing 1776, the musical, in concert with 20 pieces of the symphony behind us to back us up.
That's an excellent show, too. The music in that is fantastic. Always loved 1776. And
there's only one 250th birthday, and I was really surprised that I didn't see tons of theater groups producing this year. So for those who want their patriotic America's birthday celebration in theater form, we're the place to go. It's going to be at the Colonial on June 27th. We have a 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. performance. It's going to be like an encores style. For those who are familiar with the New York group that does encores, the band will be on stage. Actors will have some costuming and some blocking, and they will be memorized and off book. But it's not a traditional musical there's no set, and there's not going to be like dancing and things like that. So it's sort of a minimally staged version where you'll get the whole script, all the music, and all the dialogue, but framed more as a concert than a full scale production.
Awesome. Well, definitely looking forward to that, and I think everybody should definitely get in on that. And it's a great time of the year too, summertime. And this is outdoors?
No, this is at the Colonial.
This is at the Colonial. Yeah. Okay, so even better. The Colonial, and for those who've never been to the Colonial, it is a gorgeous space. It is hands down one of the most beautiful theaters in the state. So I can't recommend going to see a show there enough. The
thing about 1776 is we haven't auditioned it yet. So for those who like that show, we are going to be having video submissions for auditions that are due by the end of March, and that info will be up on our website shortly. But it's a way for people who've maybe been interested in getting involved in Powerhouse, but the 2-month rehearsal process is too much for them, or too far a drive, or something like that. This will be a much shorter rehearsal process. We're mostly going to rehearse in May before our summer show starts rehearsing in June. And then we'll have a few brush-ups in June, and then the Tech Week is just a sits probe, a dress rehearsal, and the 2 performances. So this might be something, if you've been interested in getting involved in Powerhouse, you're a great singer-actor, and but you haven't felt the ability to really dive into one of our full productions. This might be a way to sort of dip your toe in the Powerhouse waters.
Awesome. Definitely. And so we have that coming up, and then for another summertime show, we have another big musical.
Yes, Shrek is. We always try and do a big, family-friendly, large cast musical that has roles for kids and adults in the summer. And this year's Shrek, and Courtney and I are going to be co-directing that. So, Courtney, I don't know if you want to say something about it.
Oh yes. I mean, it's Shrek. Everyone knows about Shrek, but if you don't, Shrek is just a twist on the classic knight trying to save a princess from a tower, but instead of a knight, it's an ogre. And there's a talking donkey and lots of very interesting fairy tale characters. So we were in the swamp in February and midsummer, and we will be in the swamp again in August 7th through 9th.
And this is a fun lead-in. You alluded to it earlier in the segment. The other thing we do at Prescott Farm every year, we do a sort of nature-based roving interactive theater adventure. The first year was Alice in Wonderland. Last year was Peter Pan. And this year, our amazing writer, Tess Hodges, who is part of our playwriting group and always takes part in our play festival, we've commissioned her to write Big Bad, the trials and tribulations of a fairy tale wolf. So this year, we're taking a bunch of the fairy tale characters from Shrek and giving them their own show, which will involve groups of people following the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood through the Prescott Farm grounds, meeting like the Three Little Pigs and the Boy Who Cried Wolf, and taking on sort of the wolf-related fairy tales and telling the wolf side of the story. So we kind of paired them this year where the characters that are in Shrek as supporting characters kind of become the main characters in this interactive, family-friendly theater adventure in September. And Courtney directs that as well.
You get some nice little crossover, too, so that's nice.
Yeah, and we hope people who see Shrek will want to come see this other event to see a different take on the fairy tale characters than how they're used in Shrek.
Oh, absolutely. Now, speaking of Peter Pan, I see we've got something coming up after that in October, Peter and the Starcatcher.
Yeah, we can't seem to shake Peter Pan. This is a big...
It seems to be a theme, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I won't grow up. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. But we had Peter Pan, the adventure on Prescott Farm last year. This year, we're looking at the prequel, essentially, of Peter Pan, which is the very well-known Tony-winning play Peter and the Starcatcher, which is based on Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson's book series, Peter and the Starcatchers, that people may be familiar with. But this is a storytelling theater kind of production about how Peter Pan became Peter Pan. He starts off as the boy, and by the end of the play, he's got a name and is ensconced on Neverland. But so this is just a very imaginative take on one author's version of how Peter Pan became Peter Pan. And it will audition over the summer. It performs October 9th through 11th at the Colonial. And this is another play when I saw it off Broadway before it went to Broadway. It's just full of charm and warmth and silliness. And it really is a piece that allows the actors and the director to just be creative and explore and create a world out of, trunks and ropes and things like that, So it's a lot. It calls for a lot of creativity, and we're really excited to get that going in the fall and share that with our community.
And does it give you another opportunity to put another ship on the stage?
Or pieces of it.
Or pieces of a ship on the stage?
This ship has to break apart.
Ah.
We won't spoil too much.
No, we don't want to spoil it too much.
Plus, we don't have a set designer.
Well, you are listening to NH Unscripted, having an awesome conversation here with Bryan Halperin and Courtney Palmer of Powerhouse Theater Collaborative. We only have one more segment, and we still have a few more shows to talk about. So stay tuned. We'll be coming right back here at WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM in Manchester, and nhtalkradio.com. Welcome back. You're listening to NH Unscripted here at WKXL, nhtalkradio.com. Andrew Gibson filling in for Ray and having a wonderful chat here with Bryan Halperin and Courtney Palmer of Powerhouse Theater Collaborative. We've been talking about some amazing shows coming up for this season over at Powerhouse, and we still have a few more to talk about. And speaking of Peter Pan, what's after Peter and the Starcatcher?
Well, our last Peter Pan for this year, but maybe not for all time. We have one in mind for next year, too, the little tease, but we're not sure yet. But again, we like to pair our colonial shows when we can with something in our smaller series, the Spark series. That's those what we were talking about, like for the two Prescott Farm events and stage readings and other things we do all around town. But we're also doing a play called Hook's Tale, which is going to be a stage reading at the Laconia Library and the Taylor Community on October 17th and 18th. And that is Captain Hook's rebuttal to the events of Peter Pan and how he has been slandered and maligned by that boy for too long. And he and Smee tell everybody the real truth of how Captain Hook became Captain Hook. So it's sort of just a funny take on looking at the show from Captain Hook's perspective. And that leads us into basically the final couple months of the year where we've got our Power Chords holiday concert in November, and maybe Courtney can tell you a little bit about the Power Chords.
Yeah, so the Power Chords is Powerhouse's Broadway show choir. We are about 45 members strong at this time. I'm part of the group, but we have adults ranging in age from 18 into 80s, I would say. 90s,
Yes.
Yeah, 90s. So we get together, we sing Broadway show tunes, and we perform at different venues locally. So this is our annual holiday concert that's going to be coming up on November 20th and 22nd. And that we do at the Taylor community. We love the Taylor community. And the Laconia Congregational Church, which hosts our rehearsals every Sunday. And this is a free event. I forgot to mention that Hook's Tale is also a free event, as well as the Play Festival. So these are really great opportunities to see theater.
And Pooh's Birthday Surprise at the libraries
Yes,
is also free.
Also free.
So this is a nice thing that Powerhouse is able to do with our Spark series. We get sponsors for these events. So we don't make any money, but don't lose any money either.
Right.
And it's a way for us to share different things with our community and provide free opportunities for people to see some theater without the barrier of a ticket price.
Right.
So the Power Chords Holiday Concert is sort of our year-end celebration. You can also see the Power Chords at Just Duet.
Yep.
While we tally the votes after the second act, they sing a couple songs to keep the audience entertained while the tallying happens. So Power Chords is another great sort of gateway drug to Powerhouse by it's a once-a-week commitment. They sing on Sunday nights, and they love getting together, and we get requests for them to perform at civic events, and when we fill them into the schedule where we can.
I bumped into them at Lake Winnipesaukee a number of times working on the boat tours. So
There you go.
And we love the Power Players.
And then, Andrew, I think you should tell us about the final show.
The final show?
please.
Because you've been involved with it longer than we have.
Oh, man, what can I say about this show? Wrapping up Powerhouse's, sort of wrapping up Powerhouse's season in December 10th through 13th. And at the Colonial is A Christmas Carol, the musical ghost story. How long have we been doing this version of Christmas Carol at Powerhouse now? It's been, 4 or 5 years?
5, yeah.
5 years?
So this one will be the 6th year, yeah.
Yep, so this will be, 6th year doing this particular show. I've been doing it for almost 8 years now,
Yep.
In one variation or another, but have been dedicated to it at Powerhouse for the entire time it's been there. And it's just a wonderful show. I mean, if you love the holidays, if you love Dickens, if you love this story, it is such a unique take. The music is really catchy. The character, this particular iteration of the characters are really fun to watch. It is such a classic show, and everybody seems to have a really good time.
Yeah, and we love doing it every year. I mean, we have a cast of over 70, and last year, I think 62 or something of the 70-ish cast members from the year before all came back to do it again. That's how much people enjoy being in it, making it part of their holiday season, and, of course, we have audience members who come year after year as well, because it's become their holiday season. But in conjunction with that, this past year we started something new called Fezziwigs After Dark, which was we don't do a Saturday night performance of A Christmas Carol. So instead on Saturday night we have Fezziwigs After Dark, which is an adults-only sort of burlesque cabaret parody version of A Christmas Carol. And it was a big hit this year, so we're doing it again. It will be a new parody this year. And the other part of that event is another new group we have. We just created our first improv troupe, the Circuit Breakers, and they sort of provided the opening act at Fezziwigs After Dark, and then the parody went for the second act. I forgot to mention the Circuit Breakers will also have their own first show at the Colonial on May 2nd, the weekend we're in for Magician's Elephant. We have a matinee of Magician's Elephant on Saturday the 2nd, and that night the Circuit Breakers will perform an 18-plus only adult improv performance. So just another way to get people in the door. We were surprised how many people got excited about the chance for an adults-only event. Not that it was crazy risque or anything, but, sort of that made it more select. And I think people were like, oh, I'm going to check this out. And we got great feedback on it, so we're doing it again.
And we broke records on concessions, if I remember correctly.
Yes. We were told the Colonial Bar set records that night. So Spectacle Live, the company that manages the Colonial, was also very excited about that event.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll be excited about it again this year. And I mean, the improv that was done before we went on for After Dark was hysterical. I mean, we were catching it from just backstage. I mean, we weren't in the audience. The audience seemed to be really loving it. I mean, they were laughing from start to finish. But it was just fantastic.
For their first public performance, they did an amazing job, and they're just starting to get back into the rehearsal room this month so that they'll be ready for their May performance. And that's going to be all them, an hour and a half of improv, short and long form, and we're really looking forward to it after, like you said, the successful debut they had.
So, yep. That'll be a great way to end off, or actually kind of in a way kick off the holiday season. Ends Powerhouse's season, but also kicks off the holidays because it's right before Christmas. So,
yep. So that's our year. I mean, we keep ourselves busy. There's no doubt about that. We also produce the theater program at Interlakes Middle High School that Courtney is directing. So we're really out there in our community, trying to do events that engage people, entertain people. Our Power Player group of performers just grows show after show, and we believe we're onto something special because they come back show after show, and as Magician's Elephant is a perfect example of over 50 people trusting us to audition for a show they really knew nothing about because we were excited about it, and that made them excited about it, and that sort of is what makes us feel good that we're doing something right, and that keeping Powerhouse on track to just produce really high quality theater in a great venue with great people, and trying to keep it affordable for our community to attend.
Absolutely, and I think it's such a nice blend. One of the things I told people about Powerhouse is not only you're not breaking the bank to purchase tickets, you're getting community shows, but you're also getting community shows that look very professional. It's not chintzy by any means. I mean, we're putting on excellent, well-produced shows with amazing talent, and and everything, even from the little projects to the big projects, all of them are fantastic.
What really makes us happy is we can mix people like yourself who have years of experience with people who are trying theater for the first time, and the whole thing becomes a cohesive whole where obviously, the person trying theater for the first time may just be in the ensemble and not playing a leading role, but the audience can't tell who's on their stage for the first time.
No, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, if I was watching a show for the first time and I didn't know half the cast, I would not be able to tell that there were any newcomers on that stage. They do such an amazing job.
Yeah, and so obviously, the thing about theater is not everybody gets a role every time. I mean, that's the hard part about producing theater is you can't always make everyone happy. But we've been pretty lucky that because our space accommodates large casts, when we do a Christmas Carol, we can involve over 70 people. Shrek will probably have 50 or 60 people in it. Magician's Elephant has 55 people in it. Even A Midsummer Night's Dream has 30 people in it, and that's generally done with a much smaller cast. But we had so many people who wanted to be in it that Joel's vision created this swamp ensemble of the fairies of the swamp.
I saw that, and it's a very interesting play on words. Love that.
Yep. So it got a lot more people involved, and that keeps the group going and keeps people engaged.
Well, that's a lot to cover for this episode of NH Unscripted. So go out there and see a show, folks. Go check out Powerhouse. One more time, the website for Powerhouse?
PowerhouseNH.org.
Go check that out. Get some tickets. Go get a group of people. Go get a date. Go see a show. There's a lot going on over there in the Lakes region. So for Ray Dudley, I am Andrew Gibson with NH Unscripted at WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, and 101.9 FM in Manchester. We'll catch you on the next one.